All right, it's time to go. That 3-day fast is starting right now. Well, I guess it technically started last night when you stopped eating. We're going for 72 hours and we're doing it as a community. If you missed the video announcing this a couple of weeks ago, we're doing a 3-day fast all together starting right now just to raise awareness of fasting in general and to show everyone how great they can feel. But most importantly, is to do something fun together as a community. So there's a couple really important things I want to tell you in this video. Okay, I'm going to tell you some of the general health things and a couple instructions, but quite frankly, this is a very simple fast. So there's not a whole lot of instruction, but there are some important things logistically that I want you to know about. There is a Facebook group that you can join for free just down below, and that's so that you can be a part of this. It's not any weird sham or anything like that. It's literally just so that you can communicate with me, and it's just easier to track there, so I'm not always posting videos on YouTube that get convoluted and mixed up. That way we're all in a group. So that's just the community side of things. Okay, what you need to know about this fast is that it's just a water fast with the exception of coffee and tea. Okay, so don't overthink things on this. People are generally going to come up with all kinds of different things. Can I consume this? Can I consume that? So I'm just going to kind of go down a list of what I know right out the gate. Okay, the only vitamins and minerals that you are allowed to take are going to be minerals. Okay, potassium, magnesium, salt. Okay, those are the only things I want you taking. I don't even want you taking multivitamins. I don't want you taking antioxidants. I don't want you taking fish oil pills because they have calories. We're trying to keep it simple. Minerals are one thing because I want to make sure your body is electrically in balance. Okay, I want to make sure that you have the right charges going through, which is again why I'm a big fan of having salt in your water during this fast. Okay, you can consume salt, you can consume water, you can consume coffee if it's black with no creamers, no sweeteners. I don't even want stevia in this one. Honestly, if you want to really push it, you can, but I prefer that you don't. Okay, and then tea is going to be okay. I also don't want sweeteners in that. People have asked about diet sodas. Again, this is going to kind of be up to you. I would prefer with this fast that we just go clean. Just keep it simple. Simply because it's going to make it so that we actually are getting the full effect. There's not these different variables. Obviously, you've seen videos that I've done where I've talked about what's good to go for a fast and what's not. I don't want this to turn into a giant he said, she said thing of what's good and what's bad. I just want to keep it simple because we're doing this for fun. I don't want people's feelings to get hurt because I say that you can have an X diet soda in one video, but then I don't want you to do it in this fast. We just need to keep it simple. So here's some instructions during the fast. Okay. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. And you're going to want to consume at least about a half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon of good quality like Redmond real salt for every half gallon of water. Okay, so 1/2 to 1 full teaspoon for every half gallon of water that you consume. You can add as much as you comfortably like because salt is going to help you out. It's going to help create that positive gradient that we need to have the electrical energy. Now, just so that you guys know, there is a link down below for the fasting bundle specifically set up for this challenge that Redmond Real Salt has created. They're sponsoring this whole event. They've gotten behind everything. That whole Facebook group, you're going to see a lot of activity from them because salt is the one thing that we can have during this fast. So I do ask you to check them out down in the description and get your salt bundle. It's pretty awesome. Okay, so while you're fasting, you can have your coffee, you can have your green tea. Try to lean on the green tea as much as possible just so that you're not dehydrating yourself with a whole lot of caffeine coming from the coffee. Okay? If you can go without the coffee, even better because there is still a negligible caloric effect when it comes to coffee. Now, when I talk about coffee in my other videos, I usually say it's totally fasting friendly, and in my opinion it is, but we just want to use a little bit of caution. Again, we're trying to keep it really, really simple here. Okay, what about pre-workouts? People have asked about my particular pre-workout cocktail that I've made. Okay, I created that one video that said, hey, you take coffee, you take some citrulline malate, some beta-alanine, some salt, and, you know, made a whole kind of cocktail out of it. People have asked about that. For the sake of this fast, I am okay with you using that. If you want to make that cocktail for a pre-workout, you can. I'll link out to that video down in the description if you don't know how to make it. Really simple pre-workout that you can make that's fasting friendly. When it comes to working out during the 3-day fast, I don't want you to change anything. I want you to still work just as hard as you ordinarily would, unless you are someone that is in the middle of like intense training. I don't want you going 110% on a workout of the day CrossFit workout. Okay, that's just probably not a good recipe for success. but I do want you to go what your normal routine would be. So if you normally get up and you work out and you lift and you do some cardio, keep that in the equation. The reason is I don't want a bunch of variables. I don't want to take you back down to nothing. I want to take you to what you normally do. The only thing that's changing is your food intake. So I can't overemphasize that enough. Keeping it simple, you wake up, you work out, ideally working out in the morning if you possibly can, just because you're going to get more of an adrenaline effect. Now let's actually talk about the most important thing, okay? What you're going to do when you break this fast, okay? So I want you to go for 72 hours. So if you're starting your fast basically last night after your last meal, you're going to go full 72 hours. If you ate breakfast and you're starting now, you're going to go 72 hours from now. So whenever your last meal was, start a clock and go 72 hours from there, okay? When you break your fast, I highly recommend you have a little bit of bone broth, like just 4 ounces. If you can't get your hands on bone broth, use regular stock, simply because it's going to remineralize, it's going to get the digestive juices going a little bit. It's going to kickstart what's called gut motility. We need that gut motility to get going, otherwise we won't digest foods as well. And for those of you that aren't accustomed to fasting, it's very important you follow this. So you're going to do that, then about a half an hour later, listen very carefully here. You're going to keep it very clean and very lean. I recommend some lean chicken breast, preferably if you can get your hands on some lean fish, like maybe even some halibut or maybe some Dover sole or some cod, something wild caught and clean that's mechanically easy to digest. I would abstain from red meat when you break your fast just because it's tough. Okay, it's tough to mechanically digest. You don't want to be consuming a whole lot of food. I'm talking like 4 or 6 ounces, no matter who you are, no matter how big you are, okay? 2 options after that. If you are hungry and you do want to continue on with a larger meal, your next meal should be a ketogenic style meal. It doesn't mean that you have to follow keto. It doesn't mean that you are keto. It just means that I don't want a bunch of carbs coming into the equation after a 3-day fast, because you're going to have a degree of what's called peripheral insulin resistance, okay? Your body's not going to utilize that glucose well. So introduce it slow. So let's just keep that out of the equation. So a meal like that would look something like this. Maybe 4 to 6 ounces, maybe a little bit more, maybe 6 to 8 ounces of some kind of lean fish. Okay, maybe a sockeye salmon that has some fat but not a whole bunch. Maybe a filet, maybe a New York steak. Okay, maybe some chicken, maybe a little bit of chicken thigh without the skin. Okay, so that's kind of the meats there. Then we can introduce the veggies. Okay, we're talking 1 to 2 hours later after your breaking of a fast meal. You can introduce some veggies that are easier to digest. So I don't want asparagus in this case because it's mechanically hard to digest. It's very fibrous. I want things that are easy to break down. So spinach, some leafy greens, maybe some bok choy, maybe some collard greens, something that's leafy. And if you think about just a vegetable, I don't want you to overcomplicate this. Think of a vegetable and think of what is not hard to chew and break down, okay? Baby broccoli is probably okay. Cauliflower is probably okay. If it's easy to break down, easy to chew, easy to masticate, that's what we want, okay? Then as far as fats go, I want you to be diverse with your fats. So don't just get a bunch of pork rinds. I want you to get a few different fats so you're getting different sources of polyunsaturated, monounsaturated. Example would be maybe a half an ounce of pecans, and then maybe 1 tablespoon of almond butter, and then maybe a little bit of avocado. Okay, we want to diversify fats. So try to get 3 to 4 different fat sources. And that's it. That's your meal, okay? What I would highly recommend is don't eat anything after that meal if you're eating at night. Okay, that way you just go to bed, you kept it small. Ideally, this is going to be advanced, but I promise you it yields a great result. Ideally, you're going to break your fast with just the lean protein that I talked about, and then I want you to try to go another 12 hours without eating. It sounds crazy because then you're ultimately like doing a 72-hour fast with a quick break and then going another 12 hours. It's almost like you're doing an 84-hour fast. But I promise you, the fat loss results are phenomenal with that. So for 3 days, you're getting a really good metabolic effect and longevity effect. You're breaking the fast for a minute, and then you're riding the wave and getting more of a fat burning effect. Reason is because you've at least spiked your insulin for a minute with a little bit of leucine from the protein, but your body is still going to be in fat burning mode. So you're getting that whole effect. So I highly recommend that you do that if you can push it for the challenge. I'll talk about it. I'll update it in the group. I'll do whatever I can to keep you guys posted on all of this. So the big things: salt, water, coffee, tea, my approved pre-workout that I gave the recipe for, and really that's it, minerals, that's it. Okay, so go ahead and get your salt down below, really simple, and then that's it. It's going to be a really inexpensive challenge for you. Join the group so you can communicate. I'll be doing live broadcasts in that group all the time, and then you know how to break a fast. And then I'll be updating you throughout the entirety of this whole thing so that we can answer questions and everything like that. The whole idea is joining the community. So go ahead and get started, and let's rock and roll, and good luck.